Have you ever found yourself in a tizzy over how a seemingly simple word could cause so much chaos? Like, how did you get this from that? Take potential, for example. What does it mean to you? Well, what's your background? If you're a biologist or MD, you might think action potential. Physicist or chemist, you might think potential energy. If you're an engineer, you might think electrical potential. In business or sales, you might think potential profit or loss. If you're Alice in Wonderland, you might think it's your potential to grow, shrink, or catch the white rabbit. And that, my friends, highlights our biggest issue with innovation: communication in dynamic collaborations. Hi, I'm Dr. B, the CEO and founder of EQ Hacker and several brands like the Biotech Coach, the Mad Scientist, and the Collaborative Spirit. As you can see, I've got a bit more sass than your typical Ph.D. And I'm not talking about the software. As the master of dynamic communication, I arm innovation discovery with the agility to effectively communicate, leading dynamic teams to unprecedented heights of innovation through maximum creativity, efficiency, and productivity, essentially enhancing the quality of life for all. If you've ever wondered, why is it so hard to get everyone on the same page? I mean, you've tried everything, right? Hired talented people, taken them on team building exercises, hired coaches, investing tens of thousands and tons of your precious time. Each time you see a glimmer of hope that quickly wears off and you're right back to where you started, maybe even worse. And you're just like, why? If you've ever felt the heart-wrenching cocktail of confusion, frustration, and discouragement, shaken with the disenchanting letdown, kind of like sitting at the Mad Hatter's tea party instead of a board meeting, I want you to know it's not your fault. The problem with most approaches is that they're all missing this one key thing, one key insight. Our teams consist of a highly dynamic group of brilliant and creative experts, where our languages don't always match up. See, as a student, I felt like the most frustrating thing was feeling like I'd fallen down the rabbit hole. I felt like the best thing that I could do was study hard and learn the lingo of as many disciplines as I could. Earning a bachelor's degree in biochemistry gave me a really solid foundation in science, while minoring in biomedical engineering showed me how they fit together. As a graduate student, I was drawn to the magical world of bioelectrics, where everything I ever learned seemed to intersect. It was amazing. The broad scope of my research aimed to study the effects of cold electricity on cancers and on immune cells, at the bench and in a variety of mouse models, even humanized mouse models. I could go on for hours about that, but that's a detour for another day. The point is that while I was doing research, I had to be everything, from the project manager and researcher to the anesthesiologist, surgeon, engineer, data analyst, writer, all of it. And I had to defend it. If you were outside looking in, I had one big problem. My committee consisted of a pharmacologist, biochemist, MD, immunologist, vet, and only 2 of them knew anything about bioelectrics. How was I supposed to convey my message to all of them, and everyone else for the matter, in a way that they felt the significance of my research? So much so that I would earn my place among them as a Ph.D. At the time, I didn't actually realize the gravity of the situation. See, I'd been doing hair for over a decade, and my clients were all bright and talented individuals in their own ways, from homeschooling moms and marketing experts to any 2 to 3 letter acronym you could think of. All the while, I was mastering the skill of communicating the complexities of my research in a way that excited people rather than putting them to sleep. These women not only inspired me, motivated me, encouraged, and prayed for me, they prepared me. Needless to say, I passed. You ever sit on your asset? Perhaps you didn't even know it was there. Like a thumbtack in your chair? Me too. It took another year or so before I realized how serious that situation really was. I started attending networking events. Each time the same concerns were voiced and painted on the faces of frustrated, exhausted executives, directors, and the like, all with the same puzzled look, asking, why is the Raven like a writing desk? Oops. Why is it so hard to get everybody on the same page? We need more of a collaborative spirit. And that's when it hit me. I am really great at collaborating. But why? Well, for starters, I view the collaborative spirit as two parts. One, the ability and the skill set to collaborate, and two, the willingness and desire to do it. I'd like to think that for the most part, we've all got the latter, but the ability and skill set, as in communication? I don't remember that being part of my program. And that's why I created the Mad Scientist Wonderless Innovation Blueprint, so you and your teams can become master innovators, armed with agile communication skills, and discover the unprecedented heights of innovation. Can you imagine how good it's going to feel when you adopt the Mad Scientist Wonderless Innovation Blueprint? When you're turning ambiguous tea parties into powerhouse board meetings? When you're leading your team to the best ideas and the best approaches quickly get revealed, cultivated, and executed? No longer being sidebarred by the distracting nature of talking flowers? When you're tactfully focused, knowing exactly which cookies to eat and avoiding all those uncanny characters? When you're growing the right color roses? Or how about when you're no longer living with the chronic stress because you're catching the white rabbit before it's too late? And you're no longer living in constant fear of losing your head. For the Queen of Hearts pours out abundant blessings to all. For you have collapsed timeframes and delivered more than promised. See, it all comes down to communication, from the bench to the boardroom, to the market, to the bedside. If you'd like to learn more about how you can lead your team out of Wonderland, I have a few free strategy calls available this week where we can brainstorm a truly disruptive, maddening strategy for you and your team. Click the button or link below or on the side, wherever it is, and thanks for watching. Together, we'll navigate the wonderland of innovation and bring the collaborative spirit to life.